Okay. So, hi, good afternoon. My name is Dr. Hazel Hooker. I'm the Assistant Dean for Student Success here in the Honors College, and I have a cadre of wonderful staff who will be chatting with you throughout the presentation about various topics and whatnot. So I'm not going to have them introduce themselves all right now. They will do that as they go along. If you haven't already, you are definitely going to want to follow us. That is one of the most practical benefits that we have that students always rave about, making sure that you can get that particular class that you want or the schedule that you want, however that works out. Many of these other benefits are, are the honors version of something that is essential benefit to students, right? So individualized advising, for example, we have a great advising team, and the advising team is actually supplementary to your major advisor. So all of our students, or all students, will get a major advisor, and then you will also get an honors advisor. So those particular assignments will most likely happen by the end of September. So that way, if you had any specific questions related to honors, the curriculum, even career related things, graduate school, is something you could chat with them about. We also have a career specialist, Andrea. You're going to hear from her as well later on. So there are definitely great opportunities for our honor students, one in either preparing to get into the world of work through mock interviews, resume writing workshops, all that good stuff, and then also network and meet employers and whatnot. So she has a great schedule, great program coming up now in the fall. In addition, we have engagement opportunities, which Sophie Lodedo, who is our engagement program manager, will be chatting about. So you're definitely going to want to hear from her. Pre-health programs for any of our pre-meds or pre-dentals or any of those kinds of things. We have the pre-health programs like early assurance programs. So some of you may be interested in that. There will actually be a session later on during our breakout sessions where Dr. Luna will actually talk a bit about those opportunities. And then of course we have competitive scholarships. So a couple times a year, you'll see in our academic works page. So fiu.academicworks.com is actually the place to be when it comes to scholarships. So for that, you're going to want to just check that out every so often to see what could be available there for you. Obviously, when it comes to the Honors College, you can do a keyword search for Honors College. And then if not, you can always just search for anything else, like whether it's by major or some other kind of keyword that you can do there. And some of you may very well be living on campus and in Parkview this coming year. So that's going to be exciting. One of the benefits too that's happening there this year is for those of you in honors who are living on campus but not in Parkview will actually have the opportunity to make use of our spaces in Parkview. So that's going to be great as well. Next slide, Sophie. So I'm going to have Dr. Luna come on up to introduce the team and whatnot.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Luna, and on behalf of the Honors College Advising Team, I want to welcome all of you. As Dr. Hooker previously said, you will be assigned your honors advisor sometime in the end of September, and we're here to help. Our advising team is, there's three of us. I am Dr. Luna, and I focus more on students who are in the pre-med, pre-health track and the early assurance programs. We also have Ezekiel Cuevas. He's our non-STEM advisor, who also focuses on helping you with your pre-law track and programs. And then, of course, we have Jamima Judi. She is our new advisor, and she's here to help our STEM students. And you'll get a chance to know them in the coming fall semester. So if you see it, we have here you can always please check out our website. A lot of the information that you're going to receive from us today is on the Honors College website. You would go under current students, advising, academics, then advising, and then you get to see all the advising syllabi and equivalencies in case you miss anything in this presentation. Sophie, next step. Okay, so before we start, for all of you who are in the pre-professional track, such as pre-med, pre-vet, pre-dental, or pre-law, it's important that you self-identify your pre-professional track through your MyFIU. This way you can get assigned, if you're a pre-health student, an actual advisor from the Office of Pre-Health Advising, from OFA. And so you're going to have another advisor who will help you out with your pre-professional goals. And then also it helps when we distribute the students into the different advisors, if you're in the pre-health tracks, which advisor to go to, or pre-law, so that way you can be one of the CTO students. So just make sure that you take a screenshot or a snapshot of the instructions of how you're going to self-identify if you're pre-professional. So this way, you can be assigned the proper advisors to help you with all of your needs. Okay, so I know all of you are wondering, okay, I'm a new Honors College student. What classes do I need to take? So first off, everyone who is new to the Honors College has to take a course in the fall semester. So everyone here needs to take a class in the fall semester. So all of you fall into different categories. First time in college, freshman students who are just coming in, transfer students, students who are coming from other institutions, or our FIU students who are joining the Honors College after their freshman year. So first I want to talk about the course curriculum requirements for those of you who are first time in college freshmen, that you're just starting out. You might have just had your orientation, or some of you are actually having your orientation today as we speak. So for students who are freshmen and who are coming in without an associate's degree, if you can see here in this slide, you're going to see that it's a 3-year program. Your first year, you're going to be taking in the fall semester 2 courses. Your Intro to Honors course, which is IDH 1931, and your first year seminar course, which is IDH 1001. The special thing about IDH 1001 is it's a year-long course, meaning you could take part 1 in the fall, which will continue in part 2 in the spring semester in IDH 1002. So it'll be at the same time with your same classmates and your same professors. The locations may vary, but the great thing is you get to meet your classmates in the fall semester and then continue on your conversations in the spring semester. So after the spring semester, those freshmen, afterwards, you have more freedom. You have, after that, 2 more years of honors courses in which you get to choose 4 honors classes that have to be upper division. And your options are upper division seminars, which Ezekiel is going to talk about in a little bit. Or maybe you're interested in research. You could take art, in which Mr. Alan Varela will talk about this in a while. And also study abroad programs. Our study abroad programs, have in mind that the majority of them, they do start in the spring and continue in the summer semester. So they tend to be also 2 semester courses. So for those of you who are interested in study abroad, start saving, and also keep in mind that the classes are in the spring and in the summer. So in summation, all freshmen are going to start off in the first year, either taking the first year experience course, our equivalency, which is Intro to Honors, IDH 1931, and our first year seminar course, IDH 1001. And then continue in the spring semester into IDH 1002. And then after that, you have 2 more years, which is 4 honors classes, 4 more honors classes. So then the next group that I want to talk to is my freshmen who come in with their associate's degree, with their AAs. But actually, the requirements are going to be the same as the transfer students and current FIU students. So for everyone who's not a freshman just coming in, who does not have an A, who is not a freshman, who did not earn an AA, now you have to listen to me. So students who are coming in, who are freshmen with an AA, or current FIU students, or starting off in a program, or are just transferring from another institution, you actually have a 2-year program. So you get to start off in the fall semester with your first honors course, which is most likely going to be an honors seminar course, IDH 3034. After this fall semester, then you get to choose more of the options in which you're going to learn more about, which are once again, ARCH, which is research, and study abroad. So at the end of the day, you'll be completing a total of 4 upper division honors courses by the time you graduate, which if you follow the fall spring format, you'll be done in 2 years. So I really encourage you to take a screenshot so that way you can have this information. But once again, you can visit our website in which we have the advising syllabi per category, freshman with no AA, current transfer FIU students, and then also for our engineering students. But now I'm going to hand that off to Ezekiel. Ezekiel, let our engineering students know about their future.
Thank you, Dr. Luna. So the first option that we see on the left side are for freshmen who are not coming in with their AA. As Dr. Luna said, your first year will be similar to those that are not in engineering computing. So in fall, you'll be enrolling in IDH 1931 and IDH 1001. And then in the spring semester, you'll be enrolling into IDH 1002. When we move on to year 2, you'll see that we have the same options that we saw on the last slide, which you could take IDH 3034 and 3035 seminars. You could participate in ARCH IDH 4905, which Alan Varela will be talking about shortly. Or you could participate in our study abroad programming, which is IDH 4007 and IDH 4008, which Nicole will talk about in a little bit as well. You will notice that there is something different at the bottom under year 2, where it says seminars IDH 2003 and 2004. That's a fourth option that is only for those that are part of engineering computing. If you're pending a social science group 2 and a global learning foundations course, we will actually do the work on the back end towards the end of your freshman years in the spring semester to let you know whether or not you are eligible for the course. If you are, you'll receive an email from the advising unit letting you know if you would like to enroll in the course. If you don't receive that email, it's because you more than likely don't qualify because you already satisfied the social science group 2 requirement or the global learning foundation requirement. Moving on then to year 3, you'll notice that what we suggest is ARCH IDH 4905. The reason why we recommend those courses is because for those of you that are in engineering computing, you will have courses in your program that are either capstone courses or senior design courses, where the work that you do in those courses can actually count toward ARCH IDH 4905 under the honors in the major pathway. So the work that you do for those courses, again, will count toward your IDH 4905 courses, and that's the way that you would complete that. So that's our recommendation for those that are freshmen with no AA, and you would complete that trajectory in 3 years, like Dr. Luna said, if you do a fall, spring pattern. On the right side, for those of you that are freshmen coming in with your AA, or you're a transfer student, or you are a current FIU student, in your first year, we would recommend taking IDH 3034 in the fall and IDH 3035 in the spring, and that'll be your first year. And in your second year, you'll notice that we also recommend our seminar courses, our ARCH experience, and our study abroad programming. Though again, for those of you that are engineering computing, we do recommend participating in ARCH IDH 4905 through the honors in the major pathway, like we said, because you'll be doing your capstone senior design courses, and the work for those will count toward your ARCH experience. And I'll explain more on the next slide as to how many classes are concurrent with ARCH. So if we could go to the next slide, please. So for those of you that are engineering computing, I recommend taking a picture of this. On the left side, you see 2 ARCH IDH 4905 courses. That means within your major, you have 2 classes that are concurrent with ARCH honors in the major, meaning the work that you do for those classes will count for IDH 4905. For those of you that either have one ARCH IDH 4905 course that's concurrent or none, you can just take another honors class that we showed previously. So you could take a seminar, you could participate in study abroad, or if you wanted to do research of your own, you could do IDH 4905, but it would be your own research experience. Next slide, there we go. So where do all these classes count, right? So for IDH 1931, that is your first year experience equivalent, which is SLS 1501. And then for IDH 1001, it's equivalent to the arts group in the university core curriculum, or short UCC. In the spring semester, for those of you that are coming in without your AA, IDH 1002 is humanities group 2, as well as a Gordon rule with writing. IDH 2003, for those of you that do qualify for it, that are engineering computing science students, that'll be social science group 2 and a global learning foundations. And IDH 2004 will be a global learning foundations and a lower division elective. For those of you coming in with your AA, current students, or FIU students with AAs, IDH 3034 and IDH 3035 will count as a global learning discipline specific requirement, and also your upper division electives as well. So for those of you that are going to be enrolling for IDH 3034 courses this fall, what you see up here is similar to what you'll end up seeing on our website if you scan the QR code right now. So what you'll see is different tiles that have different subject areas. And based on whatever interest you have, you would click the one that you're most interested in. And then from there, decide which section you would like to enroll in. Keep in mind that some of these sections might be closed because of previous orientations and workshops where other students have attended and already enrolled. But again, IDH 3034 courses, each section is about a different topic. So make sure when you're enrolling that you pick the section that you want to actually be a part of. Don't pick one just because it's available. Make sure to pick the one that interests you most. And the way that you would do that is by scanning the QR code and looking into what our different courses are. And each of them on the website have a description about what the course entails. So we would really recommend going into the website, looking at the courses before enrolling. So for honors registration, IDH courses are only available to honor students. When you select courses, some of them will require permission or department consent. So for specialized intro courses, so that means our IDH 1931 courses, some of them are for specifically pre-med track, pre-law, international business, engineering, or computer science. Most of those sections are already full, but again, those require special permission. And there is a link underneath the section notes for each class on MyFIU if you wanted to apply and if there were seats remaining. Again, for the most part, most of these courses are full by now. Seminars limited to eligibility or an application also require permission. So for example, you might see that there's a course called Challenges in Healthcare that has open seats, but that is actually a separate application process. When you go to MyFIU and you click on the class section, you should see that you will need to contact someone in order to receive permission, and there's an application process as well. So some courses might require department consent, so make sure you read those class notes. In addition, study abroad / study USA programs, there is a separate application process for that. And for ARCH, our research program as well, that's also a separate application in order to be enrolled into those courses. Lastly, we have the honors internship course, which is IDH 3999. That course will not count toward your honors upper division course requirements, but if you would like to have your internship experiences noted on your transcript, you may do so as well. So to put it in short, all new honor students must be enrolled in a 3-credit honors / IDH seminar course for fall 2023. So for those of you that are freshmen with no AA, it'll more than likely be IDH 1001 and potentially IDH 1931 as well. And then for those of you that are coming in as transfers, current FIU students, or freshmen with AAs, that'll be IDH 3034. And then you also see that honor students must complete a minimum of 4 upper division IDH courses to complete honors. That's what Dr. Luna was referring to earlier. It needs to be 4 minimum. And then Dr. Luna, back to you.
So I'm back. Here we go. So yes, so let's talk about welcome, and now let's talk about graduation. So what does it take to graduate from the Honors College? First of all, you need to complete your major or your undergraduate requirements for your major, complete your honors courses, complete your honors engagement and volunteer hours, which Sophie will talk to all of you about in a moment, and at least have a 3.0 B average in your honors classes, your IDH courses, and you need at least a 3.3 cumulative GPA for graduation. So always have in mind that you need to maintain a 3.3 GPA minimum to be part of the Honors College. For those of you who, if you fall below the 3.3, you will be contacted by the Honors College, and we will let you know about our probation process. But just keep in mind, we just want you to get those good grades and maintain that 3.3 cumulative GPA, complete your honors classes, your major courses, and also complete your service and engagement hours. So what do you get from your graduation? Next slide. You get your very own Honors College ceremony, in which we host an honors graduation ceremony before commencement. And at our ceremony, you receive your golden tassel, medal, and certificate, and then you get to wear your golden tassel and medal to commencement. And at commencement, you get a special recognition. And then at the end of the day, in your transcript, you're going to have a notation that you graduated through the Honors College. So it would be in your permanent record that you completed our program. And of course, you get that lovely tassel and medal and your certificate. So now I'd like to introduce Alan Varela. He is the director for ARCH, Advanced Research and Creativity and Honors. It was nice talking to all of you. Alan?
Thank you, Dr. Luna. Thank you. And hello, everybody. As Dr. Luna mentioned earlier, my name is Alan Varela. I am the Assistant Director of Academic Support Services and Undergraduate Research and here in the FIU Honors College. And today I'm here to talk to you about the Advanced Research and Creativity and Honors Program, or ARCH. Next slide, please. And so what is ARCH? Well, this is an undergraduate research honors college program where you have the opportunity to work with FIU faculty on research and creative or innovative works in all disciplines. Why? Because research is everywhere and is for everyone. I do not care what Forbes may have said were hot areas of research. I do not care what any social media influencer may have said were the best routes to go with the research. Bottom line, research is everywhere and it is for everyone. And if you come to my breakout session, I am more than happy to share many opportunities with you. Now, though, what I did want to talk briefly here is about some of the pathways we offer here for FIU Honors College students with the ARCH program. So it is open to all Honors College students and majors, and there are many ways on how you can participate through the ARCH program. Note that the URL is available here on the PowerPoint slide, so feel free to take a picture and visit at your own time. Next slide, please. And so these are the pathways that we have available for our Honors College students here in the ARCH program. So if let's say that you were completing research or a creative innovative work that was being counted in your major, such as the senior design and engineering, the honors psychology thesis, or the undergraduate research in chemistry, you can apply for the honors in the major pathway. How that works is that the rigorous research or the creative innovative work that you would be doing in your major would also be counted for Honors College credit through that honors in the major ARCH pathway. But now let's say though that if you are pursuing your major but do not have the plan for conducting rigorous research or in creative innovative work through your major, or if let's say that you do but would like to instead look into other opportunities with research. As I've said before, research is everywhere and is open to whether it be within your own discipline or outside of it, or a combination of several disciplines. We do have the ARCH proposal thesis pathway. So how this one works is that you would be conducting rigorous research where the expectation is that you have been collecting your own primary based data, or at least have access to it when, let's say, you're working in a research lab. And with this pathway, you would be writing an ARCH proposal by the end of the fall term. So one in the context of, let's say that you're ready to apply for funding or a peer review publication. And then by the end of the spring term, you would be writing a graduate level thesis that is meeting the criteria of the FIU University Graduate School. And if though, let's say that you were not ready to opt in for the thesis pathway, you could just opt in for the ARCH proposal pathway in the fall term. But if let's say that, okay, so far I'm giving you a lot, but if let's say though, I'm not looking to do research in a lab, I'm not going to be doing rigorous research where I would collect my own data. So if, let's say instead you wanted to write a business plan for a new company, you wanted to make a painting, you want to make a new play, a new poem, a book, we do offer the ARCH project pathway where you get the opportunity to make a creative, innovative work where there's no expectation of collecting primary based data. There's also options of where, if let's say you wanted to instead write an extended literature review, theory paper, a policy position paper. If you wanted to propose your own work, we had one alum who made a portfolio of sketches for buildings, for apartment complexes, where she explained how specific color patterns elicited certain moods from tenants and wanted to expand this towards commercial buildings. But if, let's say though, that you weren't looking to do any of those particular options as of yet, and we're looking to just get some basic experience in the lab, or you just want to get your feet wet in a research lab, we offer the ARCH apprenticeship pathway, where you're not going to be required to complete assignments based off of an independent work or project, but instead are focusing more on the experience itself, what you did in the lab, or what you did with the mentor. Has it met with your expectations and your goals? And would you like to continue on after the ARCH apprenticeship pathway? And so more of these details about these pathways I will discuss in my ARCH breakout session. And although I'd love to talk more about research, I would like to turn things over now to our next presenter, Ms. Nicole Patrick, who is here to talk to you today about our Honors College Study Abroad programs, as well as Honors Study USA.
Thank you, Alan. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Honors College. So yes, this is the Honors College Study USA and Study Abroad programs. So these are upper division classes that you can take, which satisfy your upper division requirements for the Honors College. So let's get into it. Thank you, Sophie. So about us, we currently are offering 7 different programs. On these programs, almost everything is included. We take care of all of your accommodations throughout the program, transportation in the program, as well as any museum visits, activities, etc. Even some programs include meals. And then on top of that, these are all faculty led. So what that means is that you're a group of FIU honors students who travel together to a certain destination. And the group is typically within 12 to 22 students. And the traveling can take anywhere from 1 week or up to 6 weeks. So we have a lot of different program options, and we're continuously trying to work to create more programs for you all. So now let's get into where are our programs. So like I said, we have 7 different ones. So we go to the states of Georgia and Alabama, as well as Costa Rica, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, Japan, Italy, France, and London, and the United Kingdom. So those are our current programs. So now let's get into how we offer these. So we have 2 program options. So one is a 1 semester program, and the second is a 2 semester program. In 1 semester programs, the class takes place on campus, either in the spring or the summer semester. And then within that semester, students travel for about 7 to 10 days to a different destination. So it's a 1 course, and it's a 1 3-credit course. And then the second option is the 2 semester program. So this is 2 courses. The first one takes place in the spring semester. So this one takes place on campus, and it is your pre-trip course. So it provides you with all of the background information for the place that you'll be going to. And then in the summer is where you'll take your second course, and that's actually the travel portion. So you travel for about 1 month in your destination. And with that, you complete the 2 semester program. So that's a total of 2 classes, which is 6 credits. All right, so now, Sophie, if we go to the next slide, we'll get into how this all works. So how can you register? So the first thing is that eligible students apply to their program of choice. So this typically happens about 1 year in advance. Then students do pay payments in installments throughout the year. Then the Honors College will take care of booking everything that is included in the program. And one thing to note is that round trip airfare to the destination is not included. So you may be wondering, why not? I would like to go on a flight altogether. Well, you can do that. The thing is that a lot of students like to travel before the program or like to travel after the program. So it gives students that flexibility to continue their travels, or take advantage of the fact that they're maybe already in Atlanta and decide to go on a whole road trip around the East Coast. So it gives you that flexibility in terms of what you choose to do with your time before and after the program. Then the next thing is that you would be enrolled in IDH 4007 and IDH 4008. Then there's some additional application requirements for the international programs, like having a doctor visit, completing your passport, visa, and those kinds of things. And then once you complete all of that, then the next thing is to travel and learn. So that's how the programs work. Now for the eligibility. So in order to be eligible to apply to these programs, you do need to be in good honor standing, have a minimum FIU GPA of 3.3. By participating in the program, you cannot delay your expected graduation date, because it's really important to graduate on time. And also by participating, you cannot get into excess credits. And then one important thing to note is that we do recommend that first year students do participate after their first year in honors. Right. So if we go to the next slide, we can get into the costs of everything. So unfortunately, traveling is not free. So there are 3 different costs that are associated with these programs. So one of them is the program cost. So that includes your accommodations, your different museum visits, activities, etc. Then there's the tuition. So these are courses, so you do have tuition for them. And one important thing to note is that for study abroad courses, the courses are all in-state tuition rates. So even if you are an international student or an out-of-state student, you would pay in-state tuition rate for these courses. And then the final cost that's associated is the Office of Education Abroad fee, which is an administrative fee, and it is only for international programs, so the study abroad programs. So now, now that you're aware that yes, this does cost money. So you may be wondering, does my financial aid, my Bright Futures, my scholarships, etc., can go towards these payments? And the answer is yes. Yes, they can. So definitely recommend to apply to as many scholarships as you are eligible for. And there's lots of scholarships that are available. And we have the link here with the link to just some of the scholarships that are out there. But I definitely recommend to apply for scholarships. So now the important thing is to plan ahead. Start saving now and start thinking, when is the time that you would like to participate? So that way we can plan better ahead for your participation. And then, Sophie, for the next slide, in case if you need further convincing to participate, there are benefits with going on these programs. One of them is that you get to earn honors college credits while you're traveling. Our programs are all interdisciplinary, so that means that our programs, they involve different kind of focuses. So it's not necessarily just focused on history or just focused on business or engineering. It's for students of all majors in the Honors College. Then our programs, they're very unique. We pride ourselves on trying to have a really authentic cultural experience for our students. So it's not necessarily like you're going to the 5-star resorts or anything like that. It's more of you're going to a place to really understand what it's like and live like a local. Another thing is that in the honors programs is that you get to meet your classmates and your fellow travelers before actually traveling. That's something that not all programs offer. And it really helps because, you're traveling around the world with these individuals. So it's good to know them beforehand. And most likely they'll end up being your friends for life afterwards. I can say from experience, I have lots of memories with the individuals I've traveled with on my programs in the past. So it's a very valuable experience. And then in case, looking at more towards, after your time at FIU, you may be thinking, okay, you also get to develop other skills that can attract employers. So like, critical thinking, perhaps you're going to a place you've never been before. So you're also working on your communication skills, your teamwork. Like you're not traveling by yourself, you're traveling with a group. So always that, teamwork and communication is super important. So those are some other things that you could add to your resume, which is always great to talk about in interviews. Yeah, you can go ahead, Sophie. And then our final thing is our Instagram page. So we have our Instagram, that's at FIU Honors Abroad. That's where we're most up to date on all of the information regarding our programs. Definitely take a look at it, and I'll be speaking at a breakout session later on today, so you can learn a bit more about the application process, the programs that we're offering, and I can also answer any questions that you all may have. So with that, that wraps up the overview of the Honors College for our workshop today.
Paul Polo is a fabulous person to know when it comes to micro internships. So he'll get to introduce himself and the wonderful world of Parker Dewey.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Hooker. Paul Polo, I lead the micro internship program at the Honors College. I'm sure most of you haven't heard of micro internships. What is a micro internship? These are short-term projects. They range between $200 to $800 for 10 to 40 hours of work. Typically, these projects average $20 an hour and can be done remotely and in parallel with everything else that students have going on. Next slide, please. There's a lot of benefits to micro internships. Here are a few. As I said, they're all paid. Every project on that platform pays anywhere from $15 to $20 an hour. Most projects are remote. These are ways to expand your resume, get some experience on that resume so you can talk in future interviews, maybe use micro internships to land longer term internships. apply all those skills learning in class. This is a good way also to get a feel for a company's culture if you're set on working for a company. Build your professional network. We'll talk a little bit about making a LinkedIn and having that up to date, as that is a big way that hiring managers and leaders are looking to hire. A lot of these can lead to full-time jobs, and an awesome thing about these is that they're year-round. So if you missed, summer or fall, you didn't get your act together and apply for regular internships, you can do some of these, so you can have something on that resume. Next slide, please. These are some examples of a lot of the popular projects. There's way more, but these have been pretty popular, especially with FIU students. Video content creation. Every company is looking for this. You guys are great with social media, TikTok, website updates, competitor prospecting, marketing collateral, lead generation, research in a cool way. Microsoft had a project earlier this year. An honor student was part of a team of 8, and they did research on Adobe, how it's different to competitors and how they can improve. Having something like that on your resume is awesome and would provide a lot of talking points during that interview. And next slide, please. These are just some logos of companies that have posted or are currently posting. A big one that I saw earlier today was Lowe's. They posted a project a couple weeks ago, and it starts at the end of the month. So I highly recommend you check that one out. Next slide, please. And then how do you sign up, right? It's important to know that it's separate from Handshake. Handshake is the best career tool to get all kinds of opportunities. This platform is through a platform called Parker Dewey. Very simple to create your account. It's way easier than creating a LinkedIn. Just make sure that when you can, add a professional photo and kind of fill in the information similar to LinkedIn. And that QR code, I'll put the link in the chat after I'm finished speaking, and then I'll also put my contact information there. Next slide, please. These are just some tips. Once you do get motivated and you're like, I want to apply to all these micro internships now, really focus on what skills or what industry do you want to check out. These are short term, so very low risk. 15-hour project is nothing, right? You could probably get it done in a week or a couple days. This is just a great way to maybe even, you might be in the wrong major if you're a first year or second year student, and you're like, oh, maybe accounting or this isn't for me. This is a good way to really verify those feelings in a very cost-effective way. Be open to applying to all sorts of micro internships. If you're a psychology major, you can very well do lead generation projects, marketing projects. We had a pre-law student work with a startup, and she did 4 projects, all in marketing and content creation. If you get stuck, Parker Dewey has a ton of resources. You have myself, you have Andrea, that is also a micro internship expert. Do not worry and do not hesitate to ask on best practices on applying. If you're not getting selected, reach out to us so we can take a look at your LinkedIn, look at how you're answering those questions. Which brings me to another big point. Parker Dewey is a little bit different, the application for these projects. The company will usually post 3 to 4 questions, and that is almost, you should treat that as an interview. A lot of times companies would just select you from the answers to the questions. Sometimes they'll select you and request a quick phone call or video interview. They're just going to dive a little deeper into some of your responses, but that's usually a good sign when they want to schedule a call with you, because usually after that they're like, okay, awesome, our goals are aligned, welcome to the team. These are the deliverables. Next slide, please. These are some frequently asked questions. International students can participate. Just please make sure to check in with the International Student Affairs office. Also, please, if you're an international student, only apply to micro internships that are 20 plus hours. They're not approving anything below 20 hours. And as always, shoot us an email or reach out on LinkedIn if you have any issues with that. And as Andrea's saying, a huge thing to note as well is that you must be 18 to participate in micro internships. That is just due to the laws of work, and Parker Dewey. That's one of their things. However, as soon as you turn 18, feel free to make a profile and start applying. Parker Dewey pays you through their platform. There's no money exchange between you and the company. Companies love this as well. You'll see once you create your profile, they'll send you a link to create an account through GigWage, which I recommend linking your bank account so you can get a direct deposit. They do send out checks, but you know that could take longer. Can you apply to multiple projects? Yes, we highly recommend applying to multiple projects, at least 3, so that you can get your name out there and have a cast a wider net to see if you get selected. If you get selected for all 3, and you can only manage 1 or 2, please reach out to that 3rd one that you don't plan on doing, and send them a message saying, hey, I really appreciate the opportunity. I was selected for another project and would love to connect in the future. Recommend still keeping their email or connecting with them on LinkedIn, because that's just another person that you can reach out to later on to see if there's opportunities. Next slide, please. And of course, we have a challenge for you. Create a profile, add some of the info on there, browse through all the projects in the breakout rooms for career. If we have time, we'll go through. I can show you what the platform looks like and how to apply. And apply to 3 projects before you go to bed, and complete 1 micro internship before the end of the fall semester. I think we can do better than that. Complete 1 before October, the end of October. And that's it for me. I'll put my contact information in the chat, and thank you.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Andrea Cuadra, as mentioned earlier by Dr. Hooker. You have access to your very own career coach at the Honors College, which is fantastic. Not every college has one. And I know that the word career can be very scary or daunting, or something we want to put off for a really long time, maybe until like senior year. And I want to help make that not scary for you all. And that's what my role is here. I like to conceptualize career development with this image that you're seeing on the screen. I really want to be a resource for you to understand yourself, your interests, your values, what matters to you in the world of work. Looking at any options that you're still exploring, or if you already decided what you want to do, I want to talk about that and help you get focused and take action for achieving those career goals that you have. In these coming slides, we'll talk a little bit more about career, but if you have any questions, I'll also have 2 breakout sessions that you can join me afterwards. So something that you all should be aware about, whether you have already completed orientation or you're completing that, today or this week, is the Panther Career Readiness module. So this is a state requirement. So this affects all incoming students like you at any Florida state college or university. And so at FIU, we've created a way for you to complete this requirement through our Panther Career Readiness module. And if you are able to scan that QR code, it leads you to the website that gives you all the details, the 411 on what this requirement is about, but I'm also going to help break it down for you so you can understand step by step what is required of you. So as you can see here, there are 4 steps in completing this requirement. The first is completing or claiming your Handshake account and completing your profile. So I hope that during orientation, you remember they talked about Handshake, and Paul just mentioned that as well. It's comparable or comparable to LinkedIn or Monster Indeed, right? But this is a specific platform for FIU students. And so that's the first step. The next step is completing a module or a course that's available through the FIU Develop portal. This module or course, again, it'll walk you through step by step, literally. It gives you more information about career resources that are available to you at your disposal to take advantage of before you graduate. And I really emphasize before you graduate, because these are resources that are available to you at no cost. They're included with your FIU tuition to help you achieve those career goals that you have. As part of that module, it'll walk you through the third step, which is accessing the My Florida Future dashboard. So this is a dashboard that all universities or college students in the state of Florida have access to. And what it does is once you're on there, you select what school you're attending, what major you're studying, and then it'll show you, based on that information, alumni who have graduated 1, 5, or 10 years after you, and it'll show you what they have been earning. So this is just wage salary information for you to keep in mind if that's something that's of extreme value for you, and honestly something you should be aware of as you're pursuing your degree. And then lastly, the course or the module will walk you through this final step, which is just confirming that you have been provided with all the required information and you understand the wage prospects for your chosen major. So in a nutshell, this is what the Panther Career Readiness module looks like. We're going to break it down a little bit more and I'll give you more information. Okay, so this is another QR code you can scan to claim your Handshake account. Or you could also go to fiu.joinhandshake.com and you can log in through there with your FIU student credentials once you've confirmed your email and verified. And thank you so much, Sophie, for putting that link in the chat. Once you have claimed it and you're able to access it, the next more important step in the same first step is actually completing your profile. And so what you'll do is you'll go to the top right of Handshake. It'll show you your initials on there. Click on that, and then it'll show you a way to access your profile. And it's on your profile where you'll need to add your work experience, any clubs or organizations you've participated in the past, and skills. It's very important to add these 3 sections at least, because if not, even though you've claimed your Handshake account and maybe filled in 2 of those things, it won't complete the requirement for you. So this is a very finicky start. This is a very finicky step of the requirement. So you want to make sure, again, you activate your Handshake profile and you complete it as well by adding work experience, organization, and skills. The following requirement then, or the following step is then to complete this course, the module through the FIU Develop page. This is what it'll look like once you log on with your FIU credentials. It does take about 2 hours or less. And if you need to come back to it because you need to run off, get a snack, or go do an errand, the progress can be saved. But once it's completed, it will take between 24 to 48 hours for the course to be reflected as completed. And as you're seeing right now, that is the module breakdown. It walks you step by step of this requirement so that you don't miss anything and you can achieve this. And then the third step is viewing the salary for your major on the My Florida Future SUS dashboard. This is what it'll look like once you insert your institution, which is FIU, your degree level, and the major you're pursuing. So it'll show you what salary, wage, or prospects can look like after 1, 5, or 10 years after graduation. And then the final step is just affirming that you have completed this on the module. It'll walk you through an attestation so that you can finalize and wrap up that requirement. What's important to know is that if this requirement is not completed during your first semester, you will have a registration hold appear on your account that prevents you enrolling in future semesters. So you all know that awesome Honors College benefit of priority registration. Yeah, that's going to be gone if you do not complete this during your first semester. Most importantly, you need to complete this before October because priority registration happens sometime in November. And it's very important that you do this prior to November because no one has access to lifting this hold. It's you. You have to complete this requirement so that the hold can be lifted. If you do have any questions or you need more help, again, you can go to that first slide that had the QR code, or you can also email panther.ready@fiu.edu, and we can talk more about this, of course, in my breakout sessions. As part of my services to you as your career coach, I offer one-to-one coaching appointments. So we have different topics that you're seeing in the left in gold, such as career exploration. If you are having an upcoming interview, I want to prep you and provide a mock interview so that you have the highest chance as possible to get that job or internship. If you are searching for internships or jobs, I want to help you out with a strategy that can elevate your game and hopefully get you that job. If you're interested in graduate school or just any topics that are mentioned on here, we can certainly discuss that further. And what's different about my coaching services versus other colleges who have career coaches are that my coaching services or sessions are 1 hour long, whereas anywhere else, it'll only be 30 minutes. And so it can be tough to kind of crunch everything you want to talk about in 30 minutes. And that's why I find the 1 hour session so valuable. Besides one-on-one coaching, I also offer programs like workshops to elevate your resume. I also love to host meet and greets at the start of every semester with food to get to know each other and talk a little bit about career and your interests. So in the summer, I did paletas with Andrea, and in the fall, I'll be doing pastelitos with Andrea. So look out for that as well. I also want to help students have the best resume out there, again, to increase your chances of getting called for a job interview. And so I host Resume Fest and mock interview events with employers. And so that's coming up very soon in September, early September, to help you get ready for those career fairs. And then I always like to cap off each semester with headshots. It's a great opportunity and resource for you to dress up your best, get your headshot taken by our lovely social media specialist, David, and upload that to your LinkedIn. We also host employer info sessions. So we have employers who are very much interested in hiring you for different opportunities. So this is an awesome way to interact with them and learn about those opportunities and build those relationships with them. I know this is a lot of information, but know that I share all these types of information with events, opportunities through a bi-weekly career bulletin. So it's important that you do, look and read through your emails. You must get tons of it, I know. However, it's important to manage your time with your email so that you are able to read and select the opportunities that are most valuable to you. One important resource that I did want to highlight here, and that I'll go in a little bit deeper in my breakout session, is the VMOC Smart Career Platform. So nowadays, technology has changed our lives, right? To the point where it's also impacted employers. Employers receive thousands of resumes a day. So what they have to do to manage their time is use AI software. So they're using AI software to review their resumes. So it's not even a human being. This AI can be pretty tricky if you don't know what you're doing. And so what we've done at FIU is also partner up with VMOC which is an AI resume review platform to help you improve your resume. That way, when you do submit it online, it can get scanned by the employer's AI software system and get passed to the next stage, which hopefully is the human being's eyes, right? And so with VMOC, you have access to upload your resume up to 10 times per academic year. So use those attempts wisely. It also has a smart editor feature that allows you to edit directly on there your resume, and it also provides you step-by-step improvements to help you consider what kind of feedback to implement. On top of that, it also has one of my favorite features, which is resume optimization. That feature was recently rolled out in May. So when you are applying to jobs, it's very important that you include keywords or specific industry jargon on your resume, again, for that AI software to pick that up. So that's what resume optimization does. It allows you to upload the job description you are looking to apply to, and then it compares your resume with that job description to make sure you have a good match. And it also offers feedback on your LinkedIn profile. So similar to how it offers feedback on your resume, Aspire, the feature is called, provides feedback on how to improve your LinkedIn profile. And then if you are, not able to schedule a session with me to do interview mock prep or mock interviews, or you just want to elevate your elevator pitch game, right? You can access elevator pitch and mock interviews features on there to give you feedback on how to improve your nonverbals, your delivery of speech, and your content strength as well. So again, this is all free while you're still an FIU student, so make sure to take advantage of that. And I'll pass it on to my lovely colleague.
Thank you, Andrea. Hello, everyone. My name is Sophie Loreno, and I am the Engagement Program Manager here at the Honors College. So now we're going to chat a little bit about engagement and programs, as well as your engagement and service requirements that Dr. Luna mentioned earlier in our session today in terms of your requirements for graduation. I am going to be providing you with quite a bit of information right now, so just know that there are quite a few other resources as well. We do have a full video tutorial for engagement and service requirements on our website. And then I will also be hosting 2 info sessions the first week of fall on Tuesday and Thursday. So if you do have more questions about, how to track your engagement and service requirements, I would encourage you to attend either of those. So let's get started. So as Honors College students, one of the things that we expect of you is that you are engaged with the FIU community. And the reason that we expect that is we want to make sure that you are exposed to all kinds of opportunities, to all kinds of people, whether those help you in your professional development or even your personal development. And being engaged and giving back to the community is really the best way that you can connect with each other. And like we say here on the screen, expand your horizon outside and beyond your major, right? Interdisciplinarity is at the heart of the Honors College, and a great way for you to embrace that is by being engaged and giving back to the community. So I'm going to start with engagement requirements and move on to service requirements. And I'm also going to put a couple of websites in the chat that I'll be referencing. You might be familiar with some of them, but let's start with engagement. So engagement requirements are tracked every academic year, and they are tracked in Panther Connect. Just by using the little reaction or a thumbs up emoji on Zoom, how many of you have heard of Panther Connect before? Or give me a thumbs up if you have heard of Panther Connect before or used it. Okay, awesome. I see quite a bit of people. Perfect. So you're going to become extremely familiar with Panther Connect. That is where the Honors College engagement pathway is. You will not see it just yet. You will need to be coded as an Honors College student first, which will happen after today's workshop. But basically, once you're in Panther Connect, you'll see your engagement pathway, and you will see the different categories that you need to complete. So basically, you're looking at completing 11 activities. 10 of which are general, and 1 of which is Honors College Week, which is an exciting week of events that happens every fall and spring. And just to give you an example and why we use the term activities rather than something like events, we are very, very flexible with what counts towards engagement. So let's take the career and professional development category, for example. An activity could very well be a career-related event, but it could also be meeting with Andrea, for example, meeting with a career coach, or having an internship or job, or maybe even doing a mock interview or something of that nature. And then with another example, with academics, research, and scholarship, again, you could certainly go to an academic-based event or one of our academic-related honors hours, but you could also do research. You could also meet with your professor during office hours. You could utilize our writing center on campus or our tutoring center. So it's also utilization of resources. So a lot of these things you all are doing already. It's really just a matter of tracking them. If you are in your first year with an honors, you do need to complete the 11 activities, as you see here on the screen, spread out through all 6 categories. After you complete your first year with honors, you'll get the option to submit a form where you can focus on specific categories. You'll still need to complete 11 total activities, one of them being an Honors College Week, but you'll get a little bit more flexibility in terms of choosing what categories you want to focus on. So this kind of summarizes a little bit of what I just mentioned, but again, you can obtain credit for attending events, but also for participating in non-event activities. When it comes to events, the event organizer will be the one inputting your attendance into Panther Connect. So please do keep in mind event attendance and etiquette. It is expected that you are attending the events in their entirety and that they are actually engaging with the speaker, with the event itself, rather than just asking about attendance in the chat, for example, which unfortunately happens quite often. We do put events from a bunch of different departments in our Panther Connect pathway. So we want to be respectful of our partners. So if you do choose to attend an event as part of your engagement pathway, definitely be present, engage, and the organizer will take care of inputting your attendance. And then for non-event activities, you'll be able to submit documentation for those through Panther Connect. We do also have a weekly newsletter that goes out every Friday that has a ton of opportunities, both opportunities that are listed in Panther Connect and opportunities that people might just email us. So as Andrea mentioned before, check your emails, please, because we send a lot of great information there. And then you can also find opportunities on your own. Sometimes you might get a cool event from one of your professors, or you might stumble upon a specific program and you're wondering if that counts for engagement. The email that you see on the screen, hcengage@fiu.edu, is where you can reach out to us. Definitely, if you find any opportunities that allow you to be more engaged with FIU, but maybe aren't explicitly listed in the pathway, reach out to us because we can give you credit for it, but also let other students know about that opportunity so that they can take advantage of that as well. So with that, I wanted to give you a very quick tour of Panther Connect. Let me just find it on my screen. There we go. So I put the link on the chat. It's basically just pantherconnect.fiu.edu, and it is going to ask you to log in using your FIU credentials. So what you're going to do when you log in is you scroll down. And then you'll see in the path section, you'll actually see one path for each academic year that you'll be in the Honors College. You won't see as many paths as you see here on my screen, so I promise it'll look a little bit cleaner. But just to show you what it looks like, I'm going to click on this year's pathway. So in your pathway, you'll be able to see your progress for each category. And then you'll also be able to expand the categories and see what types of activities there are. We are in the process of adding Honors College Week events, so if you don't see anything there, not to worry. But just let's go into this academics category again, just to share a couple of examples. So this very first one is an example of a non-event activity, right? So engaging in faculty-mentored research or a creative endeavor. So I'm going to click on that. And then whenever you click on a non-event activity, you'll see instructions along with a link to a form where you can submit documentation for that particular item. And typically we'll say what type of documentation we would require. So in this case, a signed letter or email from your faculty mentor confirming your involvement in the research project. And then let me give you an example of an event type of activity. So here we have college life coaching events. So when you click on an event type of activity, you can view events by name. And then you can see, oh, these are the events that if I attend any of these, it will give me college life coaching credit under the academics category. And again, the organizer will input your attendance. Typically, they'll make it known if they'll have you maybe check in with a QR code, or sometimes if it's via Zoom, they'll just take the Zoom attendance report. If it's something in person, usually you'll sign in as you go in. So different people have different styles of taking attendance. If you do have questions about attendance, I do recommend waiting until the end of the event to ask the organizer and confirm with the organizer. That way you're not disrupting the event itself while you're there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the pathway. Again, I'll go into a lot more detail in our info sessions at the first week of fall, but also there is a detailed video tutorial on our website if you have questions about that. Now let me go back to the PowerPoint. Alrighty, so now let's jump into service. So in terms of service, it's a little bit more straightforward. There's no categories, nothing like that. So you do need to complete 20 volunteer hours every academic year. And for this one, we use a different website that I just put in the chat as well, GivePulse. This is the point of this presentation where I like to bring back Dr. Luna to chat a little bit about, you know, on average, since we do have a lot of pre-health students that join honors, a lot of them do need volunteer hours to apply to medical school or PA school or any pre-health pathway. So Dr. Luna, would you mind telling us a little bit of the typical profile of how many hours people volunteer who are successful in getting into those programs?
So medical schools, the average, it's like 440 in total for the 4 years. So it's 110 per year. And for PA school, they have to do like direct patient contact hours, usually like 1,000 direct patient contact hours, but they also have to do community service, which isn't 1,000 hours, but you still have to do community service. So yeah, so for all of these professional programs that you're going to be helping serve the public, you need to demonstrate service to others through your community service. So the 20 hours that Sophie asked of you for the year, it's literally a drop in the bucket for your pre-health journey. So, you know, 20, but you're going to need like 100 if you want to be a competitive applicant per year.
Thank you so much. So we do require the 20 volunteer hours, but again, there's a lot of flexibility, just like engagement. With volunteering, those hours can be completed anywhere, even virtually. A lot of people might choose to, travel back home over winter break, for example, and volunteer elsewhere. We do have, as Nicole mentioned, some study abroad programs that have service components. So some students might choose to do service abroad. So they can literally happen anywhere. They do not need to be related to FIU, and they can also include more than just your traditional community service. So for example, volunteering at an FIU event could count. It doesn't need to be necessarily related to a nonprofit, for example. In terms of where to find service opportunities, GivePulse, which I'll show you in a second, has a ton of opportunities. And again, our Next Week in Honors newsletter is a great resource. It is your responsibility to log those hours into the system. And also when you are logging in your hours, you're going to need to get them verified by a requested verifier, which in some cases is someone like a volunteer coordinator, for example, or someone who oversaw your work, or maybe if there isn't a particular person, but you receive some sort of confirmation or documentation, you can reach out to us and we can verify the service with the documentation. Which is why we ask that you include documentation in all of your impacts for easier verification. This could be anything like a log of hours, a certificate, a letter from someone, any sort of document that states, your name, the service that you conducted, the hours, and the date works. And then the one thing that we do not accept in exchange for volunteer hours is donations. there are a lot of programs that you might see out there that, for example, they might say, oh, you get 10 hours for every donation of a canned item, which is great. Definitely participate in those. But in terms of our service requirements, we do ask that you track actual time spent volunteering. That being said, if you are really passionate about a specific cause and you want to participate in a donation drive or even organize a donation drive, you can certainly track actual time spent collecting those items, distributing those items, maybe tabling to collect those items, as long as you're tracking actual time. So that's a way that you can still be engaged in these types of things, but track actual time volunteered. So let me go back to the website and show you GivePulse, which I also posted in the chat there, fiu.givepulse.com. You will also log in with your FIU credentials, and you'll be added to the Honors College group when you're coded as an honors student. So just to give you a quick little tour, you can search for opportunities right on the homepage. You can also use the Explore feature to find opportunities that are a specific distance from you. So if we do have any fully online students here today and you want to volunteer more locally, you can certainly do that. You can click the virtual filter to find virtual opportunities, excuse me. And then in terms of adding your impact, it's very easy. You're just going to click on your initial on the top right and click on Add Impact. And then here you'll have the choice of either doing a keyword search for a specific organization, or you can click on Can't Find It, which will let you manually input where you volunteered, which is oftentimes the case. So pretty much you would fill out all of this information. This is where you would put the verifier for you, the date, the hours. You could reflect on your experience, add attachments, and make sure that it is shared with FIU, and then you would add your impact. And again, we'll have an info session and you can find a video tutorial on our website that breaks it down a little bit further. Okay. So besides engagement and service requirements, we do have different ways that you can get engaged with the Honors College. We do have a variety of programs that we host throughout the year, from honors hours every Tuesday and Thursday to our Honors College Week, like I mentioned. We do have a lot of Honors College student organizations as well. As part of our Honors College Week, we're actually having an Honors College Club Fair where you can interact with these organizations face-to-face. So we definitely encourage you to join a group, join a club, especially if you're new to FIU. That's a great way to meet new people who share similar interests and start getting involved. And then you can also get engaged with our Edge Lab. Our Edge Lab is a makerspace that's available to all FIU students. The main location is in OE 165, but we also do have a location in Parkview. So if any of you are living on campus, living in Parkview, you have a makerspace available to you right then and there. You can do all of these things that you see on the screen and more, and you can also volunteer and intern with the Edge Lab. So if you're interested in helping other students, 3D print or help them with woodworking or with AV type of activities, you can certainly sign up to volunteer and support other students to use the Edge Lab. So just to wrap up my little section, I have a summary of engagement and service details. Let me actually go one by one. So number one, engagement and service needs to be completed every academic year. Even if you have completed your honors courses, you're still an Honors College student, you still have access to Honors College perks. So you do need to complete it every academic year. And our academic year, we consider from beginning of summer B to end of spring. Graduating students, you will actually receive a specific deadline a little bit before the end of the semester to allow us time to actually process your requirements and make sure that you're all set for graduation. But that will come a little bit later, so don't worry, you'll receive plenty of emails from us. In terms of what happens if you do not complete engagement and service, so if it is a non-graduation year for you and you do not complete engagement and service, it could result in losing access to priority registration, and it would put you in not good standing with the Honors College. But you can, recover that perk as you continue to complete your engagement and service requirements the following year. And then if it is a graduation year, your engagement and service requirements are needed to receive your transcript notation. As Dr. Luna mentioned earlier, it is a part of our graduation requirements. Sometimes we do have students that graduate in a fall semester rather than spring. So provided that you completed the previous year's engagement and service requirements. So for example, for our students that are graduating now in fall 2023, if they completed our 2022-2023 requirements, this year their requirements actually get cut in half. So they only have to complete 6 engagement activities and 10 volunteer hours. So that is something to keep in mind. And we do send you tons of emails throughout the year. Typically at the end of the fall semester, we send you a progress report to let you know where you're at. And then throughout the academic year, we send you progress reports. But keep in mind, you can monitor your progress on Panther Connect and on GivePulse on your own as well. Remember, it's really important that you're focusing on documenting activities that you're already doing. So before you try to spread yourself too thin and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to attend all of these events or add all these things to my plate, take a step back and take a look at what's already on your plate. What are you already doing? What are you already attending? What are you already participating in? And do those things count towards engagement? And if you have questions about that, feel free to let us know and we can help you either identify things that you're already doing that can give you credit, or also help you with identifying opportunities that work for you, work for your schedule, and that can help you get these requirements completed. Which leads me to this last point here. Help is always available to you as long as you reach out to us in advance of deadlines. It's really important that if you do need help, you reach out to us right away. Our email again is hcengage@fiu.edu. We have helped students in all kinds of situations, students with full-time jobs, students who are fully online, students who might go on exchange and then come back. And we always make it work by making sure that they have opportunities that work for them, for their schedule, and that work with their interests as well, which is what is most important at the end of the day. So just to summarize then, if you do have any questions about engagement and service, you can email us at hcengage@fiu.edu. I will have a breakout session in the next little session, but again, make sure you check out Panther Connect. Our info sessions are already up there for the first week of fall. So if you want to dive deeper into engagement and service, you can check out those info sessions then.
So I know we've learned so much information and learned about all of our different programs. So, in closing, I want all of you to reflect, what are you excited about? What are you looking forward to in this coming semester? And, check out that Panther Connect for all those wonderful events and opportunities and activities. Also keep an eye out for our newsletter and our emails. The first weeks, we're going to let you know everything that goes on, but also every week we'll keep you up to date with all the happenings that are going on at the Honors College. So once again, I want all of you after this call to reflect, what are you excited about? What will you be doing? Are you going to be doing those wonderful micro internships? Make some money, get some experiences for your study abroad. So I look forward to seeing all of you in the next coming weeks. And, I guess stay tuned for the final check-in.
Yes. Sophie, there we go. So I know that again, it was a lot of information that you received today, and you may have questions that perhaps you didn't think of in this moment, but you have the opportunity, if something comes to you, to email us, right? So if it was something related to advising, you can go to hcadvising@fiu.edu. If it was something about engagement, you can go to that email, or if it's related to careers, study abroad, the Edge Lab, or ARCH, which is undergraduate research.